Hello everyone, here we have again Olakin's fantastic website, Star Citizenship's Performances Viewer. Link to this is in my first pinned comment below. In this video I will only talk about threshold damage. CRT adjusted some values in the current 4.7 PTU patch. I only want to talk about important changes. For example, Stalker has now the same values as Titan, Titan Renegade and Warlock. Minor changes Eclipse, Energy 7 to 9, Gladius 6 to 9. Hammerhead got a big boost, Physical Threshold 139 to 152, Energy 69 to 101. Idris MNP got less Physical Threshold from 189 to 165, but more Energy Threshold from 113 to 132. And still no difference between Idris M and P, but M is a military version. M is supposed to have much better armor than P. Reclaimer, big boost to physical and energy threshold. Physical 107 to 132, energy 64 to 106. Redeemer, huge boost to damage deflection 2, physical 55 to 77, energy 33 to 62. However, I like to point out, those values are still in range of some size 2 and many size 3 guns. So this does not mean that light fighter meta is over. Retaliator, huge boost 2, physical from 54 to 77, energy from 32 to 62. Minor changes to Saber and Raven variants. CRG fixed Hoplite. Hoplite has not the same values as Harbinger, Sentinel and Warden. It almost looks like CRG watched my video I released yesterday. All Vanguard variants have now physical 77, energy 62. Again, this is still in range of many size 3 and even many size 2 guns. Error, minor changes. Asgard, CRG fixed Asgard. Asgard has not the same armor values as Valkyrie. Physical from 20 to 92, energy from 10 to 49. And here's Valkyrie, physical 92, energy 49. Prices, minor changes. Karak, less physical and less energy threshold. Physical from 132 to 120, energy from 65 to 64. Hornets got some minor adjustments, a bit more physical and a bit more energy threshold. And all Hornets still have exactly the same value. There's no difference between Super Hornet and the basic Mark I or Mark II Hornet. But Super Hornet is supposed to have better armor. Lightning, some minor changes. Gladiator, minor changes too. Hawk, minor changes. Hurricane, minor changes. Paladin got a big boost to physical and energy thresholds. Physical 56 to 92, energy 28 to 49. Terrapin got a big boost too, physical 50 to 97, energy 24 to 52. Yeah, like I already mentioned, big boost to Valkyrie 2, physical 50 to 92, energy 24 to 49, and Asgard and Valkyrie have now exactly the same values, which makes sense. Katual, Sanctokai, minor changes. Mole and Moth, a lot more physical and energy threshold, physical 43 to 70, energy 27 to 62. I don't know why CRG gives Mole and Moth such high values. These are just industry ships. Minor changes MPUV, minor changes Raft, still not good. Minor changes Argo SRV. Does CRG even know this ship still exists? What is her role, CRG? Beno Defender, minor changes. Mustangs, minor changes, and all Mustangs still have exactly the same values. Nomad, minor changes. A1, minor changes to energy threshold. Crusader, A2, C2 and M2 Hercules, a bit less physical threshold from 116 to 110, more energy threshold from 66 to 80. C2 and M2 same values, but M2 and A2 are supposed to be better armored than C2. Ares Inferno, Ares1, minor changes to energy threshold. Yeah, those values are still very low. C1, minor changes. Intrepid, minor changes. Mercury Star Runner got a huge boost to thresholds. Physical 54 to 77, energy 31 to 56. Buccaneer, minor changes. Caterpillar, more physical threshold, 81 to 90, and a lot more energy threshold, 51 to 80. Corsair, huge boost to physical, 48 to 63, and energy threshold, 31 to 56. Cutlass Black, blue, red, and steel, minor changes. Cutlass Steel has now the same value as the other Cutlass variants. Drake Cutter, minor changes. Drake Golem, minor changes. Drake Herald, Drake Vulture, minor changes. Blade Glaive, minor changes. Prowler and Prowler Utility, more physical threshold from 41 to 50 and a lot more energy threshold from 30 to 60. Stinger, more physical threshold, 53 to 77, and more energy threshold, 29 to 50. Talon and Talon Shrike, minor changes. Sulan, minor changes. Grace Schiff, less physical threshold from 9 to 8, and a bit more energy threshold from 5 to 6. But still far less than the other Cutlass variants. They have 18 physical and 16 energy, while Grace Schiff only has 8 and 6. Wolf, minor changes to energy threshold. Merlin, Archimedes, Fury variants, minor changes. Guardians, more physical and energy thresholds, physical 55 to 84, energy 32 to 62. Racers, minor changes. MISC Fortune, minor changes. Freelancers, a bit less physical threshold, 20 to 18, and a bit more energy threshold, 14 to 19. And still no difference between basic Freelancer and Freelancer MISC. Hull A, a bit more physical threshold, 16 to 18, and more energy threshold, 11 to 19. Hull C, more physical threshold, 81 to 90, and a lot more energy threshold, 56 to 96. Prospector, a bit more physical threshold, 16 to 18, and a lot more energy threshold, 11 to 19, but those are still very low values. Reliance, minor changes. Starfarer, more physical threshold, 81 to 90, and a lot more energy threshold, 56 to 96. Gemini, more physical threshold, 81 to 95, and a lot more energy threshold, 56 to 101. Yesterday, Starfarer and Gemini had the same values. Now Gemini has more physical and energy threshold, which makes sense because Gemini is a military version of the Starfarer. Gemini is supposed to be better armored. Starlancer Max, more physical threshold, 81 to 90, and a lot more energy threshold, 56 to 96. And Tech has better values than Max, which makes sense. Tech is supposed to be better armored. Physical, 81 to 99, energy, 56 to 106. Origin 100 series, minor changes. I mean, energy is now double, but from 2 to 4 is hardly worth mentioning. 300 series, minor changes. 325A still has the same values as the basic 300i. Origin 400i, minor changes, a bit less physical, a bit more energy threshold, and those values are really bad. 400i is not a small ship. CRG, you need to at least double those values for Origin 400i. Origin 600i, minor changes. 85X, minor changes. 890 jump, a lot less physical threshold from 137 to 108, a bit more energy threshold from 82 to 86. Seems a bit low for 890 jump. M50, minor changes, yes, double energy, but from 2 to 4, it's not worth mentioning. Apollo Medivac and Triage, physical from 45 to 77, energy from 27 to 62. And both ships still have the same value, but Medivac is supposed to be better armored. Auroras, minor changes to Auroras. Constellations, more physical threshold, 54 to 77, and a lot more energy threshold, 32 to 62. And all constellations still have the same values. Hermes, more physical threshold, 45 to 77, and a lot more energy threshold, 27 to 62. Exactly the same values of Apollo. Mantis and Meteor, more physical threshold, 17 to 22, and a lot more energy threshold, 10 to 18, but those are still very low numbers. Perseus, a bit less physical threshold, 139 to 132, a bit more energy threshold, 83 to 106. Polaris, less physical threshold, 151 to 132, a bit more energy threshold, 91 to 106. Salvation, minor changes. Scorpius and Scorpius DS, aka Antares.
Are you ready to press the EMP and the dampener buttons on the ship?
Minor changes. Physical 8 to 11, energy 5 to 9. Those are very bad values for heavy fighters. I don't know what CIG is thinking. Zeus CL and Zeus ES, more physical threshold, 55 to 77, more energy threshold, 33 to 62. Vendel Scythe, minor changes. Craft-left vehicles, minor changes. All craft-left vehicles have now the same value, physical 5, energy 4 threshold. Minor changes to ground vehicles, 5 physical, 4 energy, looks like across the board. And tanks are still really bad. Nova tank, 10 physical, 8 energy threshold. If there's one ship, one vehicle in the game that really should have high damage thresholds, it would be a Nova tank. But no, you don't get anything. And here we have all the values in a graphic. Orange, physical armor damage deflection threshold. Red, laser energy guns. Yeah, why is Gray's Chef so low? Much lower than all the other Cutlass variants. Scorpius, way too low. Asgard, Paladin, Valkyrie have not the same values. C2 having better physical armor damage deflection than an 890 jump seems strange to me. Perseus and Polaris have now exactly the same values for physical and energy thresholds. But I think Polaris should be a bit ahead. And Hammerhead has now a massive physical damage threshold, more than Polaris and Perseus. This doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, and Idris M and P still have the same values. CIG fixed some of the issues. For example, Asgard and Valkyrie have now the same values. But overall, this doesn't look like they have an idea what they are doing. This feels quite often like just rolling some dice. My guess is different people are working on this and they don't talk to each other. And of course, even energy thresholds like 80 or 106 can be reached by some size 2 and many size 3 guns. This means the light fighter meta is not over. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye, auf Wiedersehen.
Chris is an amazing young man. He wears dresses occasionally, yes, but don't we all have skeletons in the closet? It's not something to judge the man for, it's something to celebrate. And we celebrate Chris around here on the set, whether he's in his can-can outfit or not. We love him, we care about him, and we ask him to get some help. That's all.
Hey, you're still here. You might want to join me on Twitter or on Blue Sky.